The Brutalist. Now, Alan, you haven't seen the whole thing, but you're still free to comment
Okay.
here. It is a 3.5-hour epic directed by Brady Corbett, who was an actor who made a film with Natalie Portman years ago called Vox Lux in 2018 that was strange and worth seeing, about a pop star. So he really shoots for the fences in this movie. This is a low budget film, which is shocking. I could not have guessed the budget for this movie was 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's an epic period piece about Adrian Brody's character is an architect that specializes in brutalist architecture and buildings. They're at times stark and modern and very. It's a kind of architecture that became popular in Washington D.C. He plays Laszlo Toth in the film, and it's a 3.5-hour movie with an intermission. A 15-minute intermission is part of it. Well, maybe 4 hours with the intermission, and the intermission has a countdown clock, so you can prepare for that. In the first half of the movie, Laszlo meets through a strange circumstance. He meets Guy Pearce's character, who is a rich philanthropist who wants Laszlo to design a building as a tribute to his mother, a big cathedral, if you will, a community center. That this architectural project is beyond anything imaginable in terms of its scope, in terms of how people will feel when they enter the building. And Laszlo doesn't even care about money. He's all about designing something that will stand the test of time, that will impact people in a meaningful way. And Guy Pearce is the rich person funding this project. We see the development of it. Adrian Brody's character, Laszlo Toth, is an immigrant escaping post-war Europe, and it's about this struggle between, I would say what it's really about is about art and money. That is what this film is really dealing with, through the lens of an architect, right? Who is all about the art. The project goes over budget. They're making cuts to it. Laszlo, forfeits his fee to make sure this building is made in the most, perfect way possible. Things are complicated in the second act. So there is an intermission, which it needs it. And I appreciated that. So, and then his wife, played by Felicity Jones, Ersabet Toth, comes into the picture in the second half. And of course, things don't go right with creating this building. This movie is epic. This movie shoots for the fences. It has one of the best scores of the year. But I'll say that some, because of the running time, will say that the Brutalist running time is brutal. And I would have to agree with you. I'd have to agree. Headline. But this is also the kind of movie that shoots for the fences. And I will say that all the actors are really chewing the scenery in a way. So while I'm sitting here, like, I couldn't stop thinking about this movie. I saw this movie weeks ago at the DGA, where there was a Q&A, and the Q&A is on our members only channel. And I didn't know whether it's one of those movies where I finished watching it and I'm like, I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it. And you know what? Since then, I am still thinking about this movie. And there's something that happens in the second act that is shocking, with ramification. That is so shocking. You can't believe the movie did this. I was angry, and I'm still thinking about what happened. Did you get to the second half?
I got 5 minutes in, and like I said, I felt really sick, and I couldn't. And let me tell you about. I
thought you watched it.
No, I said
Okay,
I got
whatever.
sick.
It's fine.
But I'll tell you this. The first 5 minutes though, I'm listening to you describe this film. The first 5 minutes felt like it was a Holocaust movie or leading up to the Holocaust.
It's
And
not. It's not at all. Zero. It's
yeah, but
about
that's the first 5 minutes of the movie.
it's about a European immigrant escaping the war and trying to make a go in the US. I don't know that this needed to be 4 hours. I hate to say the running time, especially the second half is such a turn. It needed that intermission. I mean, could you make a 2-hour movie with an intermission or chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever?
Well, he
But
does
at
a
the same time,
director's. Sorry, just to he does a director's interview about this, and he talks about 3-hour movie, and he goes, "Well, why does superhero films get 3-hour movies? Why can't mine?"
right. Look, but I'll say this: I'm still thinking about this film. It's one of those movies that you see, and also even the graphic design, the title sequence. I'm a huge font like nerd, right? I love weird fonts, and I could talk to you about Helvetica, Times New Roman, Impact. The title sequence for this movie is brilliant. It's a very different type of title sequence. So
Well, I'm gonna have to see the movie regardless.
I'll just say this. I recommend this movie, a bare recommend, if you are like movies that challenge your sensibilities. There's a shocking thing that happens in the second act that I don't agree with, that I thought was beyond the pale, and sets everything in motion towards the climax. But it's one of the most compelling movies of the year. I like movies that take risks.
Mhm.
The fact that this was made for 10 million, the movie's an epic. The movie is an epic. They must have used, I couldn't tell. They must have used models somehow. You see them building this structure. It's amazing. The cinematography, incredible. The music, amazing. Things like the attention to detail and design. Adrian Brody's performance. So much of this movie is just top notch. And the fact that I saw it and I can't stop thinking about this movie makes me want to see it again and discuss it with you. Alan, we will revisit it once you've seen it.
Yeah.
Let's go to
Probably,
comments. We have
probably at our best of show.
Yeah, well, yes, we'll, but I recommend it only if you like movies that are challenging, that are 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just say I'm blown away that it's $10 million, and that should say something about Hollywood.
Yeah. So recommend. We'll discuss later.